Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going back to Subwoofer World, one of my favorite places to be, and we're going to take a look at measurements of the Velodyne Acoustics Deep Blue 15. This is one of their newer model subs, and we're going to see how it compares to one of our old favorites, the Starke Sound SW15. So join me as we take a look at what this thing can do. Before we get started, if you're into tech, hi-fi, or movies, be sure to push the subscribe button for new weekly videos. To get started, let's talk a little bit about what the Deep Blue 15 is. So this is a sealed subwoofer from Velodyne. It's one of their more entry-level subs compared to something like the DD Plus 18 or 15. Those are a lot more expensive. From a cost point of view, these I think retail for about $2,200 per unit. From a specifications point of view, this is a 15-inch forward-firing driver. The amplification is class AB, 450 watts RMS with 1,000 watts max. The plus or minus 3 frequency response is 23 to 120 hertz, although it can dig down deeper than that, obviously. On the rear of the box, you've got line in for RCA. For the subwoofer RCA, the LFE, you have in and out, so you can chain them together if you have multiple units. There's a speaker level in and out. As far as adjustments go, you've got power off, on, and auto, a volume setting, phase from 0 to 180 degrees, and a low-pass filter that runs from 50 to 200 hertz. All right, folks, let's get into the measurements. And this was measured with my standard methodology in the trademarked Giles McCoy basement home theater. All right, so this top line is representative of where things get to before they start getting a little squirrely, right? So beyond that, we get compression there at about 20 hertz, right? So maybe 19.6. So I'm going to mark this as kind of the maximum safe volume before the amplifier starts saying, "Oh, hold on now, let's not blow your speaker up," right? And exactly what are we looking at here? So you know, this section here at 38 hertz and this 64 and then this big dip at 77, that's all room stuff, right? So the curve is going to be pretty smooth without those in there. You're going to be peaking out at 96.36 decibels of output. And remember, this is at my listening position in my room. So if you want to know how this compares to other subs, go back and watch other videos and you can kind of see how those curves match up at, what is this, 28 hertz, right? Now this all looks nice and good. This is fine. It's not the loudest subwoofer that I've seen. It doesn't have the most output, but it sounded really good. It didn't struggle at all, and it's nice and smooth. You know, once you get down to 20 hertz here, in my room you were getting 91 decibels, and then a respectable 10 hertz at 84 decibels. So not bad. I mean, this is great output. I mean, this is a solid subwoofer. Now let's compare to what I consider to be the leading value subwoofer out there, right? So this is the sub that I recommend for just about everybody, unless they're looking to spend many thousands and thousands of dollars. So this is the Starke Sound SW15, and let me get this pulled up for you. Okay, all right. So this is the maximum output from that one before it started getting a little bit squirrely in my room. So you can see the compression there. So this matches up really pretty close to the Velodyne Deep Blue 15. It's got a little more output, you know, here at the 30, you know, everything from 30 hertz. Well, I think it's got slightly more output across the entire band, right? So, you know, obviously the room is pinning things down here, and when it pins it, right? But, you know, it's got, you know, 1 or 2 decibels in most places. Here we're looking at 27 hertz, we're going 96 decibels to 98, so 2. And 3 decibels is a noticeable volume bump, right? So this is 95.5 to 98.5. So that's, I mean, that's a noticeable difference, right? If you listen to the two of them, you say, oh, this one's louder. Less than 3 decibels, you're like, oh, it pretty much sounds the same, right? Now, when you get down to 10 hertz, where things get, you know, it's important, right? It's 84.3 versus 88.01. So a little bit louder. It's not a lot. So the Starke is a little more output You need to look at the cost difference though, and that's really where your value comes in. But I think both of these are very similarly performing solid subwoofers on what I would call the kind of low to mid in the enthusiast market. Of course, when you get to the higher end of the enthusiast market, you're going to be spending, $5,000 per subwoofer instead of $500 or $2,000 per subwoofer. So all in all, very good effort here from the Velodyne Deep Blue 15. Now it's time for the final word. So let's go over the pros and cons of the subwoofer. On the pro side, I really like that this has high-level speaker in and out. So if you want to use this in a 2-channel system, it makes it really, really easy to do so. Similarly, on the RCA side, the LFE has an in and out so that you can chain these together if you need to. On the cons side, there is no XLR input. So if you are using a processor that only has XLR outputs, you're going to have to convert from XLR to RCA. While that's not a huge deal, it can change it definitely will change the input voltage that goes to the subwoofer. So that's going to impact the volume control, that kind of stuff. So then, from a cost point of view, at $2,200, I think it's on the more expensive side. So if you're going to purchase this one, look for it on sale. Other than that, though, it sounded really, really good. It performed well, as you can see from the measurements, and it looks nice. And being a sealed solution, it is smaller, so you can put this in places where a larger ported 15-inch might not fit. All right, thank you so much for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things, and I'll see you in the next video.